What's up, everybody? Broskadamus here, and we're back with another episode of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance X. In this episode, we're going to cover Snow in Lutia, or Lutia. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that. Again, correct me if you know. And this is going to be episode 3. Now, this is technically the first new episode, as I had a previous series that did the first 2 episodes already, and I had to redo them because I lost my progress, and this is a new version. So anybody not familiar with what's going on exactly with that, you're now caught up, and we're on a new episode. So for this one, we're going to definitely have to take a look at our units and see where we're at. I believe we need to restock on some revive items as well as some potions, because we fell behind because of the first mission. But I won't go back and talk about other missions, just in case you're watching this out of order and you want to go back. So, taking a look at our gear and what's available, taking a look at Mont Blanc, and we have 2 new members, if you recall, we picked up along the way. And I thought about using them, but they're actually fairly high level compared to some of our original units, so I decided that for this mission at least, we should try to keep everybody kind of caught up, since I'm not entirely sure who I want to use and what I want to use. So we're going to jump into the shop here and take a look at some items. Now, there was some determination here, but it was definitely a necessary choice to pick up some more Phoenix Down, though they're a lot more expensive, so I ended up only picking up 3. And when it comes to potions, I believe I pick up another 3. Yes I do. I did think about picking up some high potions, but at this point, health pools are still so low, and in accordance to how hard the enemy actually hits, a standard potion will either prevent you from dying from a standard hit, or you'll be one-shotted anyway, so the high potion is going to make a huge difference just yet. At least that's how I feel. I will be investing in those later, though. Now, when it comes to actually picking something, I actually go back and forth between battle boots, and obviously I can't get gauntlets, but I go between battle boots here and the feather cap, trying to decide what I'd rather have at this point. And in terms of being able to save some money, I was wondering maybe I could pick up 2 feather caps or maybe another green beret. And now when it comes to it, I didn't really want to pick up another green beret, as the feather cap is better. I mean, you can see that here in this comparison as we're taking a look at it. So I do decide to get the feather cap. I think 1 green beret is enough, and I'll be able to switch it out to Mont Blanc to give him block arrows when it's Colette, our archer, is done with it. So I did take a look at the consumables again, thinking how I could best spend my money. Should be careful though, as you do need money to accept missions, so you really don't want to be spending all of it necessarily. So I decided to just take the couple of things I did pick up and go back with it. Now, Mont Blanc was on the front for a while now, and he was putting in some pretty good work, so I decided that he should get the feathered cap. And we're taking a look at our new characters here, and they're both level 5, as we received them separately. So I'm taking a look at them now. I did forget, though, as it's been a while, that they don't actually start with any abilities or gear when they're new to the clan. So, I did actually double-check that. I believe I actually double-checked that off of camera. And then again, emulator, save. I've had something crap out on me before, and I've lost progress and had to do a video and the mission over again, and when you're playing a hard mode mod, that's kind of a kick in the balls. Because maybe something went your way and it went real smooth, and the next time you try it, it kicks your ass. So, just something to keep in mind. Now, we're going to be using our basic party, the same as the last 2 missions, as they're the only ones that are outfitted, but I am taking a look, making sure that there aren't any additional monsters that I can't see initially here. And they are, much like last time I did this, that video never got posted though, because I did lose it because I got a new computer. But, much like last time, it is the 3, the Goblin, the Dragon, and the Panther. So, just double checking. And one thing to note, I did not check the laws again before I deployed my units. I actually took some actions before I checked the laws. And that is a mistake. Do not do what I did there. Make sure you check the law before you confirm your deployment. Like I said in the last episode, do not deploy your units and then accidentally find out that you can't use Knight Swords and then have 2 units deployed that use Knight Swords. That would be catastrophic in this mod, and incredibly painful. Not only because it's almost a guaranteed loss, I would imagine, unless you got a little creative with the class, but how slow that would be if you could even salvage it. Now I am double checking. Reveal means nothing for our units for now, at least. Don't have a sniper, don't have anybody with conceal. And this dragon does have counter, which sucks, and Ice Breath, which is aggravating, but you can kind of manipulate Ice Breath to make him use it, and it does do very little damage, but it does it in an AoE, so be careful. But the counter is a pain in the ass. Watch the counter very carefully, as I believe in this mod it's been boosted to hit 100% of the time, or have a large hit chance. I actually have to double check as we go along here, I'll be able to check. It hit every time, which is horrifying. So, with that aside, we'll get to that. You'll definitely get to see that, and that is horrifying. So, as we go into this, it was the same plan as our picking. Lock the goddamn dragon down. He's slow, moves slowly, and by move slowly I mean has a short movement range. But the Goblin does have Goblin Punch, and I did check at the beginning, and Goblin Punch is fucking annoying. But he did roll low here for a change. And now he's close enough to where we can flank him with Mont Blanc and try to use Sheep Count. I am trying to check the movement range on the Panther, and the Panther's movement range isn't nearly as bad as the Goblin. So I can get away with moving Mont Blanc there, and he's not going to get reprisal attacked. So we attempt to put him to sleep, and we succeed. 1 monster down already. 2 fairly hard-hitting and scary enemies, but when it comes to the dragon, he needs to be locked down. So we're going to use the archer, much like before. We're going to use the archer and try to pin him down with aim leg as far away as possible to keep her as safe as possible. But this isn't ideal. We're attacking from the front. But we get it. And Colette's getting a little revenge. She's had a bad time so far. And then you see I check now, and we can't use shell. That should have already been checked. Do not make that mistake that I did. It's definitely more important than it appears, especially in this mod. Now, we have the dragon locked down and the goblin asleep. So the obvious target is don't go near the dragon, because he's going to mess your shit up. So let's kind of stay away from him and see if we can move this panther in close. But for some reason, he decides that he wants to try to force us to move toward the dragon, which is, I don't know if that's intentional, but that's pretty damn smart. But it does waste some of my turns, so I decide that I would speed break the goblin, make sure he stays asleep longer, and when he does come out, he gets less turns. Same idea as before. Keep building up speed breaks so we get more and more turns over the enemy. Double check what we have. I for a moment there thought that I didn't give our white monk a weapon, because I had forgotten that I actually already outfitted him from last mission, and I didn't actually mess with it, because I was messing with it off camera when I was looking at our new units, and I had removed some stuff from him at the time. And I was a little bit worried that I hadn't put it back on him. So I was just making sure. That would be very bad. But obviously, since you're seeing this, I didn't fucking screw it up. Otherwise, you'd be seeing a different video than this, and I'd be talking to myself for a good 30 minutes or so for no reason. But that's practically what I'm doing anyway. Even though you guys are going to be seeing it afterwards, I'm sitting right here in my room talking to myself. So as we move away from that sad thought, let's see if we can get some free damage, and we can't. Attacking from the front is not ideal at all, but sometimes you don't have the angle, and sometimes you will still hit them with aim leg and catch a break. So at this point, I'm trying to position myself to draw the Panther in so I can take all of my turns without drawing him to strike, but at this point, I need to draw him in, because everything's going to start waking up and I'm wasting my time. So I let him attack from the side here on... Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it did miss. Good. I, for some reason, thought it was a hit when I was looking over this again. So actually, that worked out a lot better. He actually got the miss on the side. and we do get the speed break, which slows him down. He's a much faster enemy than the dragon, so it was kind of important to get that on him quickly. And I mean, the biggest problem we're going to have is the dragon, and we can't really speed break him because he's only limited in movement. He'll be able to take an action against our unit that's speed broken, unless he's a fast unit and able to get away before he gets his turn. So what we're going to do is continue to play it safe, try to put stuff asleep, and generate our best options. And we do put the Panther to sleep. So now we can pick and choose who we want to fight, aside from the fact that the dragon will be coming out of that and getting some turns. And he's coming up on, I believe, his 3rd turn. So I'm a little bit worried that he's going to come out of it this time. I'm not sure how long Aim Leg lasts, because it seems to last sometimes 3 turns, sometimes longer. I'm not entirely sure, but that could have something to do with being speed broken and playing with my sense of time. It may only be 3 turns. So I did decide that we would just focus the Panther, since he's already speed broken and I can't be having the dragon come out. So, and the goblin is asleep, and I would like him to remain asleep as long as possible, because Goblin Punch can pick and choose targets more easily than the Panther would have to approach and attack in melee. So we do focus on attacking that, and here's where I make a mistake. Partial mistake. I know that the dragon's probably coming out of it, and he is, but due to my positioning poorly, he ends up using an AoE attack and doing a little bit less damage. He may have one-shotted Yave there if he hadn't used the breath attack. Now, the breath attack does a shit ton of damage, as you saw, but I'd rather him use breath sometimes depending on who he's attacking, as the magic defense and physical defenses are different. That was detrimental to Yave, of course, because he's more physically oriented. Now, my big mistake that I mentioned earlier is my timing of the Panther. He's unfortunately going to get another turn, and Yave's faced away from him. So I am going to try to pin the dragon again, using Colette here. And she's just not having it today. There'll be no missing. She's going to be our sniper. She's definitely pulling her weight. She's been pulling her weight, but usually from face down in the dirt. And we lose Yave because of a positioning mistake. Now, there's not a whole lot I could have done after I'd moved him there and attacked, but a better option probably would have been to keep him away from the dragon, but the dragon's breath attack may still have had an option. Now, we do use Mont Blanc to attack here and actually finish off the Panther, because, I mean, a bell doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but when the enemy's down to 1 health, which, now knowing that that was 1 health, this, looking back at that, that kind of pisses me off, because he could have been dead and not killed Yave. But it already happened, and this kind of shit happens, and you gotta deal with it. So, we do have control of the field, and we've maintained control of the field for the most part, except for Yave tripping and falling on his face. That's what we're gonna call it. He tripped and fell down. He didn't get attacked. We didn't lose control for a second and have him die. That's fine. So, with that fact ignored, we're going to just take a free shot, because you might as well shoot and then you can move if you're going to move your archer anyway. It doesn't cost anything. Unless, of course, they have return fire or something, then that might be detrimental. Now, checking turn orders, and we are starting to pull ahead, and I'm making sure that the goblin's not coming up to have a field day in our rear. I'm afraid enough of the Goblin Punch. We already lucked out on 1 roll. I don't want to have to try to luck out on more. Now, calculating it, I should be able to get Yave away from the dragon, but just in case, I timed it to make sure that we had Darcy have a chance to heal him first, just in case. And in the hopes that he'll survive an attack if he doesn't get a turn. Now, in this case as well, I do attempt to use Mont Blanc to put him asleep, just to try to confirm that we can get him away. But we do miss. And that was our first miss on something major in a while, so we've been really lucky this way through so far. But he does get a turn. Luckily, we're physically defensive on this character, and we were able to heal him. The heal made all the difference. And I'm making sure at this point, because my physical characters are kind of clumped around the dragon in this instance, I don't want him to use Ice Breath, as it's going to heavily damage them, and I'm trying to position my units to where he will not be enticed to do so. Now, we're waiting, regenerating a little bit of mana so we can use Aim Leg when we need to, and we're going to position to kill the goblin. And in our efforts to kill the goblin, we are going to want the dragon to hold still. So we do use Speed Break. And I know that Marsh can survive his attack unless he crits while facing him. And I'm hoping also after the Speed Break that Marsh will get another turn and be able to just move away carefully and not actually take damage. So this time, much like the last mission, we're able to actually use Darcy to heal people, using the White Mage to actually put in some work finally. Now the turns are coming up, so I'm going to have to take action and use the Aim Leg that I've been saving up for with 100% accuracy and pin the goblin so I can at least hold him in place and force him to fight forward-facing units. I like this combo a lot. Put them to sleep, lock them down, then finish them when the time comes to wake them up. And the Aim Leg doesn't wake them up amazingly. So now we're preparing because he's going to wake up, and we didn't want him to get an attack of opportunity. But he does have Goblin Goddamn Punch. But not this time. But I didn't expect the dragon to get a damn turn. And Yves constantly faces away. But Yves's not having any of it. He's fucking pissed. He's pissed that he got knocked down, that he tripped. In this case, that he tripped. He's pissed that he tripped. He's embarrassed. He's not going to have any more of this shit. And he's going to take it out on everybody. More specifically, he's going to have to take it out on the goblin. Because we're going to need him to smack the goblin around a little bit so we can clean this up. Now, the dragon is still free and dangerous. So we're going to try to put him to sleep. And he is facing away, which is another lucky positioning. And the sleep works. We're getting these hits where they count. So now that he's asleep, can breathe a sigh of relief, and hopefully kill the goblin before he goblin punches everybody to death. Now, I'm going to take my free shot, and then move Colette. And that's a pretty damaging attack. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to move her away, and Yves's going to come in for some revenge.
How well will you die?
That's right. Goddamn critical. He's not having any of it anymore. And with that, we only have one target. And a little bit of celebration with the menu system. And we move to position around the dragon. Now at this point, this is incredibly inhumane on my part. I set up basically a kill corridor, heal up all my units, and we position around the dragon while he sleeps. This is, I would say, reminiscent of Countdown to Extinction from Megadeth. And if you don't know what that is, go look that up, and you'll get it from the lyrics, what I'm talking about. And we pretty much have this at this point. Even if things were to go catastrophically wrong, which they can't now that he's pinned. I mean, he can breathe on a few targets once he wakes up, but our units will be spread out enough that we'll have a healer, and there's not a lot he can do, though this is where we'll see the counter come into play. Making sure he's speed broken. At this point, I had forgotten if I had speed broken him or not, and why take the chance? He's asleep, it's not going to wake him up. And now, as we position, I set everybody up so everybody can receive heals from our White Mage. Make sure everybody's topped off because counter... I expected counter to really hurt, and I wasn't disappointed. Definitely wasn't disappointed. And I am being wary of his breath range. But in some cases, I'm trying to keep everybody out of range, but I also want to make sure that they're at least in range to take action immediately. And I did accidentally move him too far. Now, at this point, where this is going to be a little bit dull as I set up my insidious torture circle, I guess you can call it. Now we do start with 21 damage, and he gets to counter. That hit about as hard as I feared, so that's definitely something we have to watch for, and I was very careful in setting up the ability to let Darcy heal after each counter, or give my unit an option to move away after each counter to be healed. I wasn't taking any chances at this point, and as you can see, I still have a whole lot of white turns coming up before we'll see him be able to take action. Now we did wake him up, and unfortunately he is facing the archer now, but we do still get to hit. Though in the grand scheme of things, the archer is not going to make the defining decision here. It's nice damage, but damage is damage. But that counter is probably, I would say, more something that scares me more than his breath ability at this point, because at least you can prepare for the breath ability. You have to throw your face at the counter. And we are set up so Darcy can continue to heal, at this turn at least, because I can't move away. And he's going to get a turn. But as it turns out, that we're actually so fast in comparison to him that our units are getting double turns and are actually able to attack again or move away. But we did manage to put him back to sleep. As you can see, this is sadistic, to say the least. So we're going to get to take an action here. The sleep, not a huge deal when it comes down to it, as he's still going to fall back into his turn line, even though we did put him to sleep again. It does not reset his turn, unless he passes his turn while he's asleep. So in this scheme, it doesn't really matter, but we are now able to move away our units, and after soaking the counter, and there won't be in any real danger. Now I am setting everybody up to try to top everybody off, and I do not have enough mana to heal here. So I decide to just wait, cycle one more time, just to be safe, double check, make sure he doesn't wake up while I'm cycling through all my units here, and then finish topping everybody off. Now this, at this point, isn't really necessary, but I play so conservatively and so carefully, and I'm so obsessed with control of the battlefield with everything that I do, that I will do stuff like this. And that's part of the reason that I have my footage sped up. And it really does cut down on the tedium of having to deal with that. So at least from the viewer perspective. And if this stuff, like, if something like this lasts way longer than it should, and it's just ridiculous, I will just time cut it and boost ahead, as there's not a lot going on. So in the future, if you guys would like to see that, let me know. Now we were able to move safely away. I did make a mistake with positioning here. He can breath attack Colette and Marsh, but I was relatively confident that he was going to die. And with that, it's clear. What the fuck? There were kids here the whole time? What the hell's the matter with you people? Who the hell lets their kids come out with a clan of people who are going to kill stuff, and then lets the kids out there? And then there was kids there the whole time I'm fighting a dragon, a panther, and a goblin. Oh, new member though. Oh look, it's an animist. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess we'll figure it out. But with that, that ends the episode. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And I will see you in the next one. Later.